Hi folks, Kirsty here. Today we have quite an interesting project. What's happened is a few years ago, for quite a long time, I made cakes for people. I made, my company was called Vanilla Kisses Cupcakes. I made cupcakes and I made wedding cakes and I made all sorts of cakes for folk. And I try to kind of avoid it like the plague now. Because it's such hard work. I have a friend at work who had been speaking to me for ages, pre-pandemic, about her daughter's wedding. And she was going to bake the cakes, would I help decorate them? And of course I said, yeah. Today the cakes arrived. So I'll take you through to the kitchen and we'll have a look. This is more or less just a tiered cake for cutting. They're having a sort of comedy Colin the Caterpillar display of cakes somewhere else, which I think will be great. So the cakes arrived today, and over the weekend I'm gonna decorate them. Okay, so the first thing you need is 8 ounces of, it says unsalted butter. I use a spread. You can use whatever you like. This into here. And for a second, we'll go down like that. And you can see the action of the mixer with the marge. This bit will come into its own when we put the actual icing sugar in. Because when it wants to all fly up and hit you in the face, it can. Magic! Right, that looks almost done now. It doesn't take long for it to mush down the actual butter. So we shall go on to our icing sugar. The icing sugar. There we go. We're going to sieve it through. This could take some time. Talk amongst yourselves. Nearly there. We're getting there. Any time today. Right. This is why a lot of people are putting off sifting, I think, because it can take quite a long time. This is a lot of icing sugar though. I mean, 2 pounds of icing sugar is a fair whack. So, okay, we're almost there, yay! Right, and now that everyone's lost the will to live, we shall, you can see, there you go, that was easy. Okay, so I'm going to start it up slowly and you'll see the benefit of this shield, this guard, at not letting the icing sugar come out and hit you in the face. That's in the slowest speed, just so things can start to get mixed together. So what we do, in the normal mix, we have 2.5 teaspoons, 2.5 tablespoons of water. Just normal water, okay. Because we have double mixture, we're going to have 5 tablespoons. And what this will do is it makes it, you can see the mixture is going nicely at the minute, it's going to be smooth just now, but while it's still moving, I'm going to open the little flap on the card and put in also put in 2 teaspoons of natural vanilla extract. Got a nice Madagascar one here, just a double. This is like the kind of, the texture of this is sticky rather than a lot of vanilla extract, so just be like, so you see it. It's not as runny as it is. More of a syrupy texture. Not usually syrupy, not 100%, but it's still more syrupy. Right, so that's all the ingredients in there that we need. So now we're going to beat it up, big style, make it all nice and fluffy. Turn it up, baby. Okay, it should start to go a little bit white. You know, it's gone from a sort of yellowy colour to a more creamy white colour. While that's doing that, I'm going to move it to one side and we're going to get the cakes out. Okay, so buttercream's done. We're now going to have a wee look at the cakes. Now, they smell amazing. Really cool. This is cake number 1. This is a 12-incher and it's a vanilla Madeira cake. Madeira cakes, very good for weddings. If you're thinking about having a stacked cake, if you're gonna basically have the tiered look, Madeira is a very good solid cake because it's got more, it's got self-raising flour in it, but it's also got plain flour in it, and that helps with the density of the cake, which makes it still taste lovely and still be quite nice and light and fluffy, but it does give it a more solid, I'm not making it sound very nice, but it is. It gives it a denser consistency, which is easier to stack on. It's more stable. There you go. I think I said that okay. Right, I'm just going to run a knife around the outside because I didn't bake this cake. I can see that I don't think she's used any kind of baking parchment inside, which can sometimes make it a bit iffy getting them out of the tin. What kind of tin is it? Oh, it's a spring form. Okay, so what we'll do, can you see that, this spring form bit? I'll just flip this open and it should release. Oh, lovely. So, what I've got here is a sheet of perspex, really. These were produced a few years ago by the Little Venice Cake Company. You can see, you can maybe see the motto's right in the middle, right in my chest, there. So Mitch Turner had the Little Venice Cake Company and she produced lots of useful stuff. And these perspex sheets were some of them. This one is the 14-inch square, which you see I've taken a slice out of, but these are invaluable for turning your cakes out. It gives a lovely solid place like this. Please come off, please come off. Don't like any baking paper used. Right, I'm gonna get a knife, a palette knife here as well, it might help. I'm gonna just run the knife along the top to see if we can gently prise it off. So number one thing when you are a baker and you're baking for special occasions is you cannot put all the effort, the ingredients. Is there paper there? No, oh, there is paper there. Effort, ingredients, time, money. Oh, it's taking a buff there. Time, money, to have a cake that doesn't turn out at the end of the day once you've had it in the oven for a couple of hours or whatever, doesn't turn out. That's not going to work. I have been up at 3 o'clock in the morning rebaking cakes before for special occasions, and that is just miserable. No fun at all. Okay, so this cake is a nice looking sponge, but we have another nice looking sponge over here that she has baked, my friend, for her daughter's wedding. All the turning out work's been done. Is it good? It's still got paper on the bottom. Yeah. So let's have a look what it would look like stacked up like this. This paper off gently. That would look alright actually. It's big. It's chunky, but it's a lot of people. Can you see? And it seems, I'll have to get my spirit level out, it seems relatively flat. Like that. I don't think I'd argue with that actually. That's worked quite well. Okay, so we're going to start with the jam. I'm just using strawberry jam for this. And we're going to layer it over. I'm going to be quite generous because it's a big old cake, even though it looks nice and moist. Cake-wise, you want everyone to go, oh, best cake I've ever had at a wedding. How amazing is this cake? There we are. So, right out to the edges will be the driest bit. They'll get the most heat in the oven, and they'll get the most exposure to the air, so before it's actually covered, so you want to go right out to the edges. Put a wee drop more on. That's what I'm going to use. Another Perspex sheet. So flip it back up. So you've got your flat bit, which is technically the bottom of the cake on the top. So this surface is going to be the one that sits on the jam surface. The return of the buttercream, looking lovely and fluffy. And we're going to use a different palette knife, and we're going to scoop some buttercream onto this cake surface. There we go. Such lovely stuff. Absolutely deadly for the waistline. So we're going to bring back this chap, and they will slide about. If they don't go on perfectly, they will slide about, so don't panic too much. So we'll just, there we go. So I'm going to move it over. Ta-da! Push it down. That looks like the biggest Victoria sponge anyone's ever seen. It's huge. They're quite big in the middle, but I think it's pretty cool. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to move things about a bit so I've got a bit more space. And then get a turntable, put this on the turntable. And then we're going to, okay, big turntable's back. Very useful bit of kit. We're just going to pop it on here. And good. There we go. This kind of sweeper just to go around to try and even it up. If you feel that one bit's more than another bit, I think so. I'm going to put it right over the middle like this and down the sides. You want to get rid of any bits where air could get in and make the cake stale. To completely cover it. And then and right across the other side as well, so there's none of it that's exposed. Okay, and then it's ready to go into the fridge. It would stay in the fridge for, I would say, a minimum of an hour. Probably a couple of hours would be best. If you think how long it takes for butter to solidify up if it's been out the fridge for a while. Then that's sort of the length of time you want, because it will make the cake more solid. Put this in the fridge. Okay, I'll come back in a minute. The kettle's on, it's noisy. In the middle of doing anything, it's always advisable to have a cat break. You can just sit down and relax as much as your cat does. If you don't have a cat, a dog or a hamster will do. This is chili pepper, sometimes known as Chungus the humongous, and this is our chap. We've got his sister as well, Betty, who I will show you in a little bit. Yeah, he's had enough of the spotlight. There you go, a very nice looking carrot cake. So it's another spring-loaded, spring-formed tin. So we'll just go like that, and hopefully should just come out. Just pop it on here. Flip it upside down. Then the piece might just peel off. Yeah, good. Lovely. And you really need to cut it in half. I don't think we need to. I'll do it round this side so you can see. See where it is on the cake? That's not too bad. We could cut it into thirds, which sort of would be the standard that I would use for cakes when I was making them myself, but I think this one will be fine. So I'm using a kind of sewing motion, trying to keep the bottom of the actual cutting wire, trying to keep the bottom bits down. Now you can see here, I'll turn it around so you can see what's happening. Quite often this will occur when you're cutting through a cake like this. It will take chunks out of it. See, so you can see it's happening more that side, I think. Can you see the chunks coming? Just gentle sewing motion to try and avoid any chunkage coming out too much. There we go. Okay, this is from Wilton. It's a cake lifter, so it'll do the same thing as the boards. Useful things to have. So I'm just going to flip the top half of the cake in there, and you can see the inside of the cake. Looks lovely. you still running? Goodness me. Yes, so we've done a lot to do with the cakes today, so I'm really pleased with that. Tomorrow we'll come back and we'll start to cover them with the sugar paste. So there'll be 3 white sugar paste covered cakes. We'll also cover the base, the cake base with it as well. That always looks nice and professional. And then maybe sometime tomorrow we can stack them. If not, we'll stack them Sunday. We'll stack them the next day, and we might start to decorate in earnest. There's not a lot of decorating to be done. It's being picked up Tuesday night. Loads of time. Okay, see you later.